Local man did not record zero video. Comment upset. Now I record zero video. Comment happy. Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're doing Nightrose. DifferentFight, sorry. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That was a bit of a slip of the tongue there. Welcome. I was hoping to get this up for like around Halloween, but we slightly missed it and now it's Christmas. Welcome to Christmas. Today, we're taking a look at Nightrose. I just played against the toxic opponent that emote spammed me every time I made a slight misplay. And so that means we're in a great mood to get into today's deck and fight, which is a very skill-intensive deck that requires you to know combos very well. So Nightrose got a bunch of cool new cards, and of course a lot of good old cards that are still here that we're not going to necessarily go over. The Grade 2 lineup has literally, like, I don't think it's the same, but it's like the cards have existed from before, so we don't really need to really talk about it too much. We're still playing like the 2 of Columbard, because I feel like Columbard got a little bit better maybe with this set, just because you have more battle phase shenanigans that you can do, so calling him off of the Zonger is really nice. And then of course we have the Lazy, that is the best grade 2 in the deck, Cannoneer, that is our removal option, and then of course the Rook, that is our big attacker, and then of course we have the King Serpent as our countercharger. For grade 1s, we have a lot of stuff that is the same, like the Stride Fodder as well as the Bone. They're running as a 3 of because I feel like you don't really need Bone until your opponent's at like 4 or 5, because otherwise you're mostly using your CB on stuff like the Lazy instead. We're running a couple 1-ups. We have one of the Bale the Ghosty. This is basically a 9k attacker slash booster when called from drop zone, and when it is retired during the battle phase, so like if you overcall it, if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater Nightrose, you put it to the bottom of the deck and countercharge 1. So this has been pretty nice, especially now in the JP format where there's a lot of ZTBs running around and they have the 6k intercept. You can swing that in with this and then just overcall it from like anything mid-battle, and then you get the countercharge, which is pretty good. And then I'm running one copy of the Fatal Shade. It has Hollow, and when it's retired by the Hollow ability on GB1, if your Vanguard is a Nightrose, Soul Blast 1 and put it to the bottom of the deck to choose a non-grade 1 from your drop zone and call it. So this kind of allows you to, if this, let's say, gets retired by Hollow, you can Soul Blast 1, put it to bot deck, and then call out the starter for, you know, your countercharge needs if you need to, because the starter is only 5k, so sometimes doesn't hit the right numbers, or you had like some awkward turn and you didn't like, or you like overcalled it or something. That way you can still bring it out and get the countercharge too, while putting something back to deck, which sometimes can help to not deck out. And then we're running 4 of the new PG, which is the Banshee, as Hollow, and GB2, when it's retired by the Hollow state, if your Vanguard is a Nightrose, you Soul Blast 1 and choose another copy of herself from the drop zone and put it at the bottom of the deck to add this to hand, then discard 1. So it's kind of an expensive effect, but you don't really need the countercharge PGs because you countercharge enough in this deck from all of your other effects. So instead we're trying to get the PGs back to hand. That being said, I rarely manage to pull this skill off because I just don't have the second copy, or I don't want to call it, or I'm trying to go for something else, so it's a little bit awkward sometimes. But then of course the main highlight is of course the new Nightrose, which is the brand new grade 3, which has GB1 Hollow on rear, which is pretty good. You have some combos to do. And then GB2 on both van and rear once per turn when your other unit, other rear guard is placed from drop to your rear guard circle. You can choose a grade 1 from your drop zone by Soul Blasting 1, as long as you have a grade 1 in your drop zone, and call it to the same column as her. So for example, if you have her on board, and let's say you use Zonger to call something to one rearguard column, you can then Soul Blast 1 to call, let's say, like a Bone behind her, and then you can extend the combos like that. So it's pretty cool. Lets you basically just get extra attackers out, and it's overall just a good card. And then of course the best part of her is her Stride skill. When you stride over her, cost 1, and then look at the top 3, and then you can put any number of them to the drop zone, and then choose a card from the drop zone and call it, give that unit plus 3k if it has the Hollow ability. So she's a really good card because she fills up our drop zone, so we don't need to go for the ghosty stride anymore, which is really nice. So you set up the drop zone with just striding over her. Everything else is the same. We're just running one copy of the Storm because we gotta use our CB on other stuff these days. And now let's talk about the G zone. Of course, the best new card is Zonger, which we need 4 of, definitely. It is our first stride as well as our late game stride. So at the end of the battle, the attack can almost 1 GP Sonar Blast and discard 1 to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, choose 1, put it to the drop zone, and then choose a card from your drop zone and call it. And then for every face-up card in your G zone, it gets plus 5k. So even on first stride, you're giving it plus 5k, which is very good. So first stride, it lets you just like multi-attack while pushing your opponent to 5 and potentially asking for PGs and heal guards. And then when your opponent kind of like heals down, or they're like, your field just sucks and you have no other way to like bring out a field, like you have very little cards in hand, that's when you go for the brand new Nightrose GR, because she is really good as a card, but she's not really good in Zero compared to Zonger. So her effect is once per turn combos 1 in G Persona Blast, and then you choose cards from your drop zone equal to the amount of G zone cards you have face up plus 1. So if you have 1 face up, you call 2. And then if you call 3 or more, she gets a crit. So you kind of go into her like second stride where you can like fill up a board of like 4 cards, and then you get a crit, which is nice. And at the start of the battle phase for that turn, for every drop zone in your for every Nightrose, sorry, in your drop zone, you choose that many units and give them plus 5k power, which is also very good because that allows you to just like buff up stuff like King Serpent that usually are like very low in power and cannot hit alone. Then we're running one of the Dracut, but I have not gotten into this guy even once in all my time playing this deck. GB2 once per turn combos 2 and discard 1, and then from your drop zone, you choose cards equal to the amount of rear guards you have. And then, for every unit with the hollow ability that you called by this skill, you randomly retire one of your opponent's rear guards, and then, if your opponent doesn't have any more rear guards, you draw 1. So, it is basically kind of like a Ogma for Nightrose, but it's really hard to set up because you're always emptying out your field. So it's like you don't oftentimes actually have much to like overcall, because like you have to literally overcall your whole board. Like it's an act skill so you can like set stuff up, but then you're CBing 2 for this, so it's a very, very expensive skill, but it's fine to have as a one-of. But honestly, if you don't have one, don't even sweat it. Like you don't have to play this card, just like play anything else, literally anything else. Like you don't really go into this much. You do go into the old GR Nightrose sometimes because it's still like it's an extra crit while making multi-attacks, and then of course if you don't have any CB play, that is the Bandit Rum, but otherwise you're basically just going into Zonger, then going into this, and going into this all the time. And then of course you might need the Harmonics Messiah sometimes for those 0 damage Luard matchups because you're a very CB reliant deck. Also, disclaimer, I'm pretty bad at playing this deck. I used to be better when the deck came out and I was like really motivated to grind games and learn it better, but the less I play it, the worse I get, and so you're going to notice some misplays, and so I apologize for that in advance, but let's have some good games and hopefully show you what this deck can do. Alright, let's go! It's time to game. We're playing against Shadows, which is most likely Luard, because Luard got some support in this set, and it's still very powerful. We're going second, thank God, that's very important. If we don't go second, we cry. We opened the right cards, we have a Stridefar even, but I think I do want to keep the draws in the deck for the most part, so we're going to go with that. Between riding the Ghosty and the Bone, I feel like I'll ride the Ghosty. Like honestly, just rushing with Bone early is pretty good because like we go second, we like call this to this thing to the starter to the front to like aggress a little bit. We have extra grade 2s in hand, so we can like keep the aggression going pretty consistently. We have a PG in hand that's also very, very good. So here we can kind of push a little bit, call you to the front. You're not going to get bound or anything, so that's good. And then we're going to just push. Sweet. Hopefully hit a trigger or something. And if not, then like hopefully our opponent doesn't and we can keep aggressing. That's like very important is what I was gonna say, but we will not. Unfortunate. Our aggression dies, and so does my heart. At least we have Stridefar in hand, we have grade 2s to push with, and if they call any intercepts, we can clear them out still with the current existing board. Is this Claret? I think it is Claret. There's been more people playing Claret than Luard lately, which is interesting, because like the Claret deck has actually been really annoying because people play it like super aggressively, and they have like this thing, Morion Spear, which counts as a grade 2, like a grade 1 in the deck, despite being a grade 2, so you can always call it out by effects and stuff. Okay, I also hit a defensive. Does that mean my opponent will not hit a defensive? It does! Great, fantastic. I'm happy to see that, I guess. So that's pretty good. We have a Lazy here, so I'm going to ride the Lazy on this side. We're going to call it the Skeleton Cannoneer, because I have to call it from drop with the effect. We can keep the Lazy in hand to just kind of like push with it, so that's fine. We're going to call this and just push, like, just having the intercept on the side is honestly fine. I kind of felt that they were going to hit defensive there, so we're going to just clear out the Branwyn here and pass. God damn, he just blew her up. She just splattered, dude, scattered it to smithereens. She's all over the place now. What's going on? So that's going to be our turn. Also, rate these very cute ring sleeves. Aren't they nice? Alright, so Harmonics Messiah has a buff in JP, by the way, welcome. You now get a Heal Guard in hand when you go first on your first grade 3 turn to help deal with opponent's aggression, which of course is a big thing still. So, I'm gonna call the Morion Spear. That's already 2 out, I think? 2, right? Yeah, 2 out, okay. And then that's the Blue Espada, another very good card. Gonna attack my starter. That's good of them, because I do need to call that back out eventually. Alright. Claret is going to swing, going to put that on the rear because they do play stance. PG going to go to the bottom, is also pretty good. Now we have 2 CB, which means our plays are actually quite limited. We need to hit a Serpent, if possible. Because we have to use 1 CB to get our friend back. Also, yeah, right animation. For those that haven't seen it. We're going to go to Zonger here, I think. Because Zonger gives us multi-attack. We just want to push the 5 as fast as possible here. So that's going to be pretty good. And because they only have 1 intercept, we can kind of use the rearguard Nightrose to our advantage a little bit to call some stuff. And empty out our soul, most importantly. So yeah, let's do that. We're going to use this to call out the Nightrose. Get a Cannoneer and a Bone. I'll put both of those to the drop zone. Just to thin out the deck as well. Here, I'm thinking we get the starter out now. This will turn it into 8k, which doesn't quite hit yet. I'm just thinking. I think I want you here. I want you over here. I want this Nightrose over here. Hollowed, of course. And then I want this over here, because we have to discard 1. Bone isn't going to do anything here, but hopefully we can hit a Serpent. That'd be pretty fuego if we can. Don't need to hollow you, actually. Technically could have, I guess, but it doesn't change the numbers, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to swing here, and then this is going to swing in with a Vanguard. No defensive, that's good for me. Our hand is pretty low, so I'd like to hit some draws here if possible. Get a heal that whiffs, but that's not the end of the world. Let's see, get a draw, that is what I did want. Very good. Alright, and then with this Bone we should be able to hit. If I can find a Serpent, that'd be really cool. 26, I think, we barely hit. Get the lazy out of here. Come on, Serpent. Please show up. Nice, we do get it. Do we hit enough, though? It's going to be 13. Plus 17, yeah, we hit 30, so that's actually just enough with the Serpent. So we can actually chain some attacks, technically. We'll just get Serpent out here first. It's not going to be hollowed or anything, too, so that's pretty nice. Serpent, going to use the effect here. And now we can technically Soul Blast out you. And healed up a Bone for later, I suppose. Or we can field you up, actually. We don't need the Bone. We can use you for like a battle phase combo later on. So let's swing in with 30. And then we don't really need to use a skill here because we would not be hitting for numbers. So I think we just pass and save the CB. And that works out. So boop boop, those retire. And then that's going to use its skill to counters 2. And then we're going to pass. We have 2 damage, 1 PG in hand, and a Stride Potter. All we really need, I'm a little bit scared of Ogma, but I think this is their first stride, so they can't. I mean, they might Ogma me, but I hope they don't. So, there we go. We pushed to 5, that's kind of all we want to do, so now next turn we can either go for the Nightrose stride if they heal down, because then you have crit 2 on the Vanguard, and you have like multi-attacks with Bones, and like Lazies, and Columbards, and all that kind of stuff. So, you get to kind of like push around on a bunch of different sides, which is pretty good. Gonna go into the Claret stride, gonna use a skill. This skill is really good because you get to call 1 and add 1 to hand. So you call a grade 1 and then you add a PG to hand. Because it can only target grade 1s, but it's really good. Like, that skill does not mess around. I'm gonna call 2 big intercept, just guard. This is choice restricted with Belial Owl, so I feel like now people are just playing it. Luckily, I do have Columbards to get rid of them. And we hit numbers like hard enough to get over them anyway, but I think I will use a Columbard here, like, depends how much CB we get given, to be honest. Or guys are gonna add a heal guard to hand as well, that's important to keep in mind. So there's at least 2 defensives in hand that we know of. Now it's a question of if they heal. They don't heal. That's pretty important. PG goes to damage, that kind of hurts. So we have 4 CB, which means we have a Nightrose skill, Zonger skill. Oh yeah, it gets the frickin'... Do I go for Zonger? The question is if I can hit large enough numbers. With this, I can. I think we just go for it for the time being. I think we do go for Zonger here again, because they're at 5 damage, so like multi-attacking is just better. So the crit from neither Nightrose stride matters right now. It's just the power from the Nightrose that might matter, because we already have like... I only have 1 Nightrose in drop anyways, it's not that big. I'm gonna use this skill first to, I think, get a Columbard out. Ooh, we can ditch the PG, actually. If I can find another one somehow, that'll be pretty good later down the line. How many PGs do I have in drop? That's the first one. Okay, if we can get a second one, that'll be pretty good. So, I think here we want to get you out. Or do I need a lazy? No, I don't think I need a lazy because I'm going to just overcall. So we're going to get you out on this side. And hollow you. And it's going to use a skill to pop. Sorry, like I'm not as entertaining when playing decks like this because I focus so much on the plays themselves. It's kind of tiring. So I'm going to do this. And then here we can swing like so. Which is good. And then we can swing like so. This will ask for a heal guard. And then we're going to use the bone to get out a rook. Get out the rook. There we go. Sweep. Hollow you, so you go to 16. I'm gonna ask for another heal guard. How many do you have left? None shown. God, you're making me work hard, dude. Way too hard for my liking. Sadly, I don't have anything to put this power on. But luckily, like, the Zonger will... No triggers, dude. What is going on? Alright. Ditch you. See what we hit. See what we hit, honestly. Columbard, I guess I'll mill you out. I think we just take the Serpent here. I think this hits because we have, like, 4 face up. So this gets just enough power. There we go. Countercharge. And swing. Okay, we got a PG out. So that's 8 for the heal guards, which means they have 1 heal in hand. That's the... They have 1 heal in deck. That PG we technically knew they had. And now it's a question of if they find more PGs off of this freaking stride skill. I also only have 1 PG, and they can multi-tack with the new stride. So multi-tack is really scary. It's really, really scary. They're not going to go for multi-tack. Okay. In that case, I think even if this gets a crit, depends what they hit. If they hit, if they've compressed hard enough, I might die. Because they just have more grade 2s. Like, honestly, Claret is scary. Oh, look at this. Like, you get to call the grade 2, you add the PG to hand, put the heal back to deck. Like, it's crazy, dude. It's such a good skill. This stride skill is insane. I think it might even be better than Luard for, like, more aggressive Shadow Paladin plays if you want to go for that. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. You just always filter for PGs. Like, who said that's fine? I'm so impressed by this card. Alright, what did you find? Hits the grade 1, kills my intercepts. That's pretty bad. No, kills my... Okay. Does that mean I live? Does this get crit? No, it doesn't have Orgeizers. Oh, you do have Orgeizers. Oh, wait. He didn't flip the 3rd Orgeizer, so this does not have a crit on it. So he's playing for stands, I think. Wow, that's annoying. Alright. That's turbo annoying, but it is what it is. It is what it is, my friends. I think here, next turn, we have 2 Serpents in drop, I think, so theoretically... Okay, I hit a defensive, which is cool. We're gonna PG for this. I think we have to go for Nightrose Stride skill to get a PG back, and at the same time, just, like, freaking call stuff, like, honestly. I'm gonna go for Nightrose Stride here. We can get this PG back. Oh, it's such a grindy game. We know he has 1 PG in hand. Yep, that is also very annoying. The fact that they buff up like that. We're gonna go for Nightrose Stride here because multi-attacking is gonna cost me too much. And we have better ways of doing it. I'm also running low on time, so I gotta think fast. Oh, it's a hard matchup, dude. Feels like that's kind of the problem with Nightrose. I didn't say this earlier, but the deck is kind of weak. Like, I'm gonna be real with you, the deck is kind of weak. We don't need to use anything else. We're gonna just use Nightrose here, use CB1, and just fill up the board. So 1 Serpent. Do I have a second? PG. You. We don't have enough CB for a bunch of stuff, so I'm calling 3 cards already. Kind of need a 4th. Guess Columbard will do. We'll use our last CB on Columbard. Do you have double intercept? You do. I guess Columbard will do. 1, 2, 3, 4. G-Konga! Alright. This will do it. Soul Charge, Counter Charge. We can do a few combos. with lazy and stuff. Let's do it like that. Okay. Sorry, that took a while. We don't need the crit on Van, to be honest. We just need to attack and get these freaking defensives out. So right now, all I really care about is abusing my attacks as much as I can. Draw's nice. Low on deck, actually. Oh, this game is scary, dude. This game is scary. It's made for scary people. We can call lazy out. To not much avail, because we can't really use the skill here. I'm gonna be just overcalling, so it doesn't make sense. Technically, might have messed up with my call orders. Yeah, I could have played that better. Either I needed to call a bone over this. I needed to call a bone there, basically. That's what I was missing. Let's use the PG first before my time runs out. That's like my only hope for survival. So let's do that. Put that back. Put that to hand. Discarding Columbard. And then that's gonna CC2. Sheesh, dude. All of that to potentially get wiped. We have 2 defensive cards in hand. We have 1 intercept. Technically, this deck has multi-attack. I don't know if they're running it. They haven't gone into it yet, but they do have multi-attack with the new GR. So it's like, I can take 3 swings to face, I can't take 4. So it comes down to that. We don't have any heals left. Still 2 PGs in deck. One of them, of course, we sent back just now to the bottom. Oh, God, it's stressful, man. This is a stressful game. But let's see where we can take it to. I'm getting hungry as well. It's 1:30. I want to eat. I want food. Alright, do you have the GR? You do! I think then it's over. I cannot survive multi-attack because this thing says at the end of the battle, you attack the Vanguard, G Persona Blast, and then you choose grade 1 or lowers from your deck equal to +1 of the face-up cards in your G-Zone. So this also G Persona flips. So that's going to be 5 cards face-up, you can call a full board out. So this is going to be calling stuff out. What did you add to hand? I kind of missed it. There's a log. Oh, the grade 1, okay. So the only thing we can pray for is that there's like no targets left in deck, which that is a very copium statement. So sadly, not having enough, like, honestly, I think if I had just played the bone over the freaking ghosty, I don't know why I kept the ghosty there. I guess I just miscounted my CB as well. Oh, please just, like, don't have any grade 1 or lower. If there's a chance for there to be no grade 1 or lowers, that's the chance I'm gonna have to take. I'm begging. I'm praying. I'm holding out hope. Please be just grade 3s and grade 2s. No! You have the strongest grade 2 of the game! Oh my god. Alright, we die. Solid attempt, but Claret is too strong now. Claret is top tier meta now. That's just the reality we live in. It's scary, bro. It's scary. Mom, pick me up, I'm scared. This deck is too strong. It's too strong. Alright, game 2. Let's go. Oh my god, DI. I guess DI did get support recently, so it's not completely out of pocket, but... Oh, going first too? Jesus Christ, don't let me go first. This deck dies if it goes first! Oh my god. Okay, hand bad. Going first especially. Okay, we have a Columbard, lazy, skeleton. It's honestly not that bad, but we're just missing like a stride fodder to... Okay, Nightrose, the wrong one though. Hopefully we find the right one soon. Because, like, that old Nightrose is still good, but it's like, it doesn't thin the deck. So, I don't like using a setup turn for the Ghosty unless I have like 0 CB and against like Lord or something. So that wouldn't be too great. Also, while filming this, I'm watching the Pokemon Elite Four TCG Decisive Battle. So basically, like, this is a tournament that is held for Pokemon TCG because Pokemon TCG is the #1 biggest TCG in Japan by far, like by far. And essentially, they have 4 people called the Elite Four, just like in the video games, that are essentially the PR and like representatives for the game for a whole year. And then they'll have 2 players from that got, like, they'll basically choose the people that, like, the 2 people that, let's say, get top 8 this year, there's 2 people that got top 8, or well, they got top 4 in the World Championship for the game. So they immediately become Elite 4 for the next year. So if you can do really well at the World Championship, you will immediately become Elite 4. And then the remaining Elite 4 from the last year, plus like other players that did really well during the year in Japan, will get invited to the tournament that they're playing out right now to decide who the next Elite 4 will be. And so it's really, really intense because like once you're Elite 4, you basically like you write articles for the website, you like publish recommended deck profiles for like for the new sets that come out, and then on top of that you also do stuff like oh my god, what a top deck. You also do stuff like you're like on every single like official stream, you appear on the official channel all the time, like you basically become the face of the game, which I think is really impressive. And it's just a cool thing they do, honestly. Like to me it's just a very cool thing they do. Anyway, we're gonna aggress a little bit, because going first, if you don't aggress, you just kind of flop and die, so I don't want to do that. We have 2 strike fighters and 2 defensive, so it's like, hand-wise, we're actually quite fine. We just need to push here. PG to damage is also very good, because it's like pretty far in the damage. So here if we heal, or if we check a crit, and we don't play crits, obviously that would have been pretty hot, but we push the 4, which is nice. Next turn, like, if they don't heal, Zonger is lethal, so we're kind of just aiming for that. I'm assuming that DI cannot fill up a hand that hard. This is the old Sharad, right? Yeah, this is the old one, okay. It's the old one. Okay, gonna stride. Let's see it. Let's see this striding action. Into this. This is the on-hit guy, right? No, it's not. Soul Charge 3, and then for every different grade you Soul Charge, you retire an opponent's... Oh no, you choose one of your rear guards, give it plus 5k. And if you Soul Charged, a Darkness ability card, you add a grade 3 to hand. That's pretty good. Alright. I'm gonna use the Succubus there to Soul Charge. Already at 7 soul. Chariot with a heal on it. That's sussy. That means no heal guards. I mean, obviously returning heals to deck is pretty good, but I don't know. I think heal guards are a bit more schmexy. Alright, killing the crit to get a PG to hand. We know there's 1 PG in hand now. Will it stay with only 1 intercept, or are we going to try to hit something else? Alright, I think the Darkness card did go in there, so we get the power and a grade 3 to hand. What grade 3 went in, though? Ooh, Edge in the Darkness, that's a back row interceptor. Alright, that's a little bit of... That's a pretty good board. It's a pretty good board. We're going to take some damage. We're going to go to 5 as well. We have 2 defensive, so we're not dead or anything. But this is a more lethal turn than expected. PG to bottom, there's a PG in damage as well, and 1 in hand. Draw to Vanguard, okay, no crits, good, because they play crits as well, so I was a little bit scared. Gonna draw into a heal, kind of wanted to check a heal, I think with that we're almost out of heals. That actually kills my bone, god damn it. That's slightly annoying. Does that randomly retire from back row prioritization? If so, did I mess up? I think I did. I feel like I did. Alright, get rid of Nightrose, let's do some strides. And we have a lot of CB, so we can actually, like, kind of burn through a lot of it. And just, like... Do I have a bone here? A lazy, rather? Ooh, this is good. That's pretty nice. Alright, let's mill you out. We're gonna get the lazy out over here. And then we're gonna use the lazy to call... let's get you out. Kinda wanna call the bone out. So that kind of would work out. Or we can call this out. But we don't. Then we need to use a soul. So maybe let's do it with this here. I'm gonna call you out, and then we're gonna hollow you to get the CB back, and then do this, and then the next lazy. Basically, we need to kind of need to find a lazy off of this. It's a little bit annoying, but let's see how this goes. I kind of need another lazy. That's like the problem that we are currently facing in modern society. We're gonna swing with the rook to face, and then the Zonger's gonna go to face. I can put all the power on the starter. No intercept. What? How do you not have intercept? Oh, you need to have 10 or more soul. Oh, you just didn't hit the soul count. Okay. All right, PG to bottom. Not too great. Bone to bottom. Ooh, okay, the draw helps. PG, nice. That's good. So here we can ditch the Tommy. Really want to hit a lazy off of this. Really need to hit the lazy off of this. Come on. Don't whiff. Don't whiff. Yes! Excellent. That's perfect. So now, we're gonna get the lazy out over here. And then your power 16, right? So, theoretically I've messed up a little bit, because now I have to hollow the rook. Slightly annoying. Not the end of the world, though. We can hollow the rook. Just missing out on an intercept. So, like, I should have called the lazy the other side, so it would have been 16 on its own. Whereas now I have to hollow this to make it 16. Slight annoyance, but it's not the end of the world. It's gonna ask for heal guard, or it's gonna just win the game. I mean, that's also what you can do, like, aggressing early, going first, allows you to do this. And they don't check a heal, so we're gonna take the dub. Nice, finally get a dub with this deck. I haven't really been winning with it too much, so I was a little bit concerned going into this deck and fight, to be honest, so I'm glad that it went well, because I was a little bit concerned here, but good, nice, that was good, clean, fast game. I think we didn't really make any, like, substantial misplays anywhere either. Generally speaking, the shorter the game is, the less chance there is to misplay, so that's always great. So, nice. Good stuff. And so, there you have it, everyone. That is the Nightrose deck and fight that you've been waiting for. Let me know what you think of the deck, as well as the moves that it can, and how you've been enjoying playing Nightrose, whether it's in GPA or in Global. I am going to get out, though. I'm very hungry. It's time for lunch for me, so let me know what you thought of the deck in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. But otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.